Live from... Oh, wait. This episode really is live. Well, then, it's the Smokin Hot Toddcast Live. And now, here's your host, Hot Toddy.
Okay, there we go. Start with a big old burp. Hello, and welcome to a special live episode of the Smokin Hot Toddcast. I'm Hot Toddy. I'm here with Miss Pengrino. Say hi.
Hello.
Yeah, speak up because the thing's got to pick us up. Hello. Is this thing picking us up? I'm not even sure if it's picking us up, but
Let's hope so.
let's hope so. But yeah. Huh?
Otherwise, we're just sitting here with our mouse moving and nothing.
Right. Well, let's check and make sure we got audio. Otherwise, this is going to be a real short trip. But yeah. But anyway, welcome to the show. Like I said, we're here. We're live tonight. If everything works here. Yeah, there we go. All right. So once again, welcome to the Smokin Hot Toddcast Live. I'm Hot Toddy. That's Miss Pengrino. I'm pretty sure it got it, but I just wanted to make sure.
Well, you know. Yeah.
But anyway, this week is a special live show. We weren't going to do another live show until early December. We had plans for one.
To put my table together.
Put the table together, but we've scrapped that idea. The reason why, if you've not gotten it from the title of the show, Miss Pengrino and I have just survived COVID-19.
Woo!
Yes. This is the official announcement to everyone. Miss Pengrino was diagnosed with COVID-19 on November 1st.
Yeah.
We both got tested, and she tested positive, and I tested negative. But what happened was, we were still around each other. So even though I tested negative, she tested positive. I eventually got symptoms a few days later. Now, what makes things even more crappy is the fact that she had asymptomatic COVID-19.
Technically, I had a symptom.
You had a runny nose.
It's still a symptom.
You had a runny nose. That is all you had, damn it. That's all you had.
Yeah.
Was a runny nose.
Hi, Heaven.
Hello, Heaven. Hello. Sorry, I know. I think Heaven was mentioning my burp at the beginning. we just ate pizza, so it is what it is.
It was pretty good. It was from Marcos.
It was good. Yeah. Shout out Marcos. Hey, sponsor us.
Yeah. For sure.
Yeah. But anyway, so Miss Pengrino tested positive for COVID. She was asymptomatic, and I was negative. And then I started showing symptoms on Election Day. I had a cough on Tuesday, followed by congestion on Wednesday, a headache on Thursday, and between Thursday night into Friday morning, I had a blistering fever. It was awful. And but by Saturday, things started to clear up. Although Saturday, my final symptom came through, and that's the dreaded losing your smell and taste. So I still have that, unfortunately, but all the other symptoms have dissipated now. They've all gone away. I'm feeling a lot better. I'm still a little nasally. I've got just a little bit up in here, but no congestion. My lungs are fine. I didn't have shortness of breath. But yeah, I did end up having COVID-related symptoms. I ended up having the taste and smell. That's the worst, losing that, because I can't even tell you the last time I lost that from a simple virus. But this was not fun. This was not a fun process. It's been a long 3 weeks because I was out for 2 with her, and now I'm out. I was out for an additional
one.
One. It overlapped.
Because they overlapped. Yeah, one of our weeks overlapped.
Yeah. So we've been trapped in the house, and but here we are. We're doing better. My 2-week stint with COVID ends on November 17th, which is Tuesday. But I'm feeling a lot better now, so we're getting through.
And mine already ended, and I'm back at work.
Yeah,
so.
Yeah. Isn't that nice? But anyway, but yeah. So it's been a time. As you can see, I'm wearing my anti-coronavirus hat because we don't like COVID in this house, even though we both got it.
Got COVID.
Thank you, Heaven. Yes, I'm feeling a lot better, and it's getting better every day. But it was rough going there for a few days. but it's starting to dissipate and get back to normal.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's where I'm at in life. Is I got the disease that I didn't think I was ever going to get.
I had a feeling I was going to get it, but I work in a pharmacy, so...
But yeah, I honestly thought, though, because, I mean, we did everything that we were supposed to do. We wore the masks. We social distance. We did all of that. We never did a show with anybody unless we knew that they were clean and they were... Well, not clean. That sounds horrible. We knew
well.
they were well and negative.
Yes.
That was what we were going for here.
Which just kind of goes to show you can take all these precautions and it's still a very potent virus. Like, it can still come and happen. You
have to be very careful. I was talking about this when we were recording Smells Like 90s Rock last night, which you can hear tomorrow night on WUTK 90.3 The Rock, midnight, 2 a.m. But I was talking about it. It's like, you can do... There's nothing you can do to really escape this. If you're around it, you're going to get it. We went on vacation. My whole family went on vacation to Florida, really the epicenter of the coronavirus, of all of this, yeah. And we all went down there, and we didn't get it. We all came back negative. We all felt fine. And then, we hung out with a friend that didn't know she had it, and we ended up getting it. And it just goes to show that it really doesn't matter. Safety is number one. But you were saying a statistic like 90% of the population most likely has it and they don't even realize it?
Yeah, I was reading through a couple of articles because when we got it, I was like, well, what about this and what about this and what about this? And they said probably about 80 to 90% of people have either experienced it, come in contact with it, have it, and they just don't know because they're either asymptomatic or they're chalking their symptoms up to weather changes, sinuses, allergies, because most people don't experience the severe symptoms.
And to be fair, when all this started with me, I thought it was allergies because
I did too.
We've been going through, days of where it's 50 one day and 80 the next day, and that kills me every time, whether it's in the fall or the spring. That gets me down every single time, at least once. And so I was convinced that's what I had, but then lo and behold, no, I had it. I had COVID-19, and it's not fun. It's not great. So, PSA here, make sure that when to just stay safe. Wear your mask when you're out. Social distance if possible. Try not to get into big gatherings, and don't play around with this because, I was lucky. I survived it, and
so was I.
well, you were asymptomatic. Doesn't matter. By the way, this episode brought to you by NBC. Thanks, NBC. Sponsor us if you would.
Yeah, that's never gonna happen.
No, as well they shouldn't. But yeah, don't mess around with this because I was lucky. I got through it. It was just a bad virus for me, but I'm still young enough. I'm still healthy enough to get through it, and so it wasn't as bad for me. But for other people, this is very serious. The numbers are over 230,000. Well, yeah, that's my boss who asked, "Are you still able to smell the 90s rock?" Of course. That's
not right now.
No, yeah, I can. That's a smell that never goes away, folks. We just do it from home these days and pre-record it. That's the only difference. But yeah, it was tough going, and so don't mess around with this. 230,000 plus dead now. Over 100 dead in Knox County. And that's scary because you think about your own county statistics, where you live. Yeah. And so, So
if you are getting the sniffles, if you are getting a cough, if you're getting any of those things, go tested. Go get tested just to be safe. The testing is free.
Yeah. Even
with your insurance, uninsured, it's still free. Go get tested if you're having any kind of symptoms, just to be safe.
Don't mess around with this stuff because it's brutal. Even if you are young enough and healthy enough to survive it and to kick it, don't mess around with it. Don't not take the precautions. Take every precaution you can. Stay indoors if you can. But I understand life has to continue in some form of fashion. And if that's the case, then please wear your mask, social distance. Make people social distance from you if that's a possibility. Like it is at our job. Everybody's spaced out pretty well in the building, and then when we go do events, well, no, exactly. You're a drugstore. We're a radio station, so we're able to separate. And then
but we do wear masks, and we have shields, and we have wiped down everything all the time.
That's right. So you guys stay safe, and we stay safe. Even when we do events, we put up barriers so people can't get through, and so we do our part. But it's going to take the effort of everybody to do this. Because the curve is not flattening yet. We do have a new administration coming in to Washington at the beginning of the year, and I hope that will help adjust things a little bit better. Don't want to get too political here, but I do want to say that I don't think our current administration helped this situation very much at all, and I'm hoping that this next one that comes in, he's already putting together a task force, so hopefully when he comes in, he'll have a better plan than what we've been doing. But that's why we're live tonight. I had a regular episode planned for this week, but it would involve me coming into contact with people, and
can't do that.
Can't do that. So I was like, okay, we'll postpone this episode to when the next live episode was supposed to be, and move this to a live episode so that we could just talk.
Which kind of sucks in a way because I really wanted my table put together.
We can still get the damn table put together.
I love my table.
We'll come in here and we'll put it together, but we'll put it together not on camera. That could be nerve-wracking if we did it on camera anyway. And what an episode! The more I thought about it, I was like, wow, really? The whole episode is just putting together a table?
I mean, there probably would have been a lot of cussing, a lot of hurting oneself.
Probably a lot of throwing pieces around. It just, I don't...
Maybe finding poop that Teebs has hid from us.
Teebs the cat, that's a whole different story. She'd probably be beating everybody up anyway. But,
that's a good point.
But, we had to move the live episode to here so that we could do an episode this week and keep the episodes flowing. We'll have a regular episode of the show next week. It's our annual... It's not a Thanksgiving special, because I don't know how the hell you could do that, but it's our annual Thanksgiving episode. So we'll be back to regular episodes next week, and then regular episodes until December 17th, which we will be back live once again for our Christmas special. Miranda and Daniel will be here for that. So, but yeah, that's why we're here. That's why you didn't see a regular upload this week. It's a weirdo. It's a weirdo time in our lives right now. But as you can see by the title, COVID Conquerors, we've done it. We've gotten through it. Miss Pengrino had extremely mild symptoms.
Thank you.
And I had the brunt of it, but I got through it.
The symptom most affected me was him. He was the symptom. Being a butthead. And being whiny.
We were trapped in this house together for more time than it needed to be. No offense to you, but I enjoy my time that I spend with you, but I enjoy the time when I'm just here by myself, enjoying the silence, or when I'm at work, I enjoy my work. So, and the fact that there was no episode to work on because I had to move it, and the fact that the 90s show last week was live because Sheila and DJ Pork wanted to do the show live because they were concerned about talking about election results on a pre-recorded episode, so they wanted to do the show live. That was a shit show, I might add. It was still funny, and it was very entertaining, and I just uploaded it to the Smells Like 90s Rock Mixcloud page, so if you want to go listen to it, wait till we're done here, then go listen to it. It's a great episode, but it was a shit show trying to put all of that together, and because I was live from here via Zoom, and they plugged in their computer through Zoom. So I'm trying to talk through Zoom, but nothing was working, and They were live in the studio. It was a cluster. So I didn't have an episode to work on. So the bottom line was I was going stir crazy these last few days, not having anything to do. But luckily, everything seems to be going back to normal, and here we are. But yeah, it's definitely weird. But the bottom line is that we were very lucky.
Yes,
we were extremely lucky because I don't consider I'm actually a lot healthier than I lead on to be, and I'm actually a lot healthier than I look. I'm very bad out of shape, but that's really where the line gets drawn. I'm just out of shape. I'm not unhealthy. But still, I'm pre-diabetic. I've had diabetes runs in my family, so if I had gotten COVID, I was always afraid that it probably would take me out. But everything seemed to work out okay, and I'm still alive. Yeah, I was convinced I died yesterday.
Oh my God!
Well, I have to tell you the story. So yesterday I'm laying in bed, and I have this fan that blows air on me on my nightstand.
Shout out to all the fan sleepers.
But I've had that fan for the better part of 6 years, 7 probably. And it stays on all the time. Knock on wood, this fan is the most reliable little fan that I've ever had because it stays on 24/7. The thing still works after 7 years. I've never seen a fan as hardworking as it. Yesterday, I was laying in bed and all of a sudden the fan went off. I was like, oh, well, after all this time, the fan finally pooped out on me. It was a great run, and it was kind of symbolic that I was there for its last hurrah, and that it died with me in the room. I was like, okay, so we got to look for a new fan. A few minutes later, the fan very creepily and mysteriously comes right back on.
Side note, I think we had a power splurge.
That's what she says?
Because that morning when I went to work, the power was flickering.
That's what she says, but I think I may have entered a parallel universe or a paranormal, whatever it's called, universe. I don't know, but I'm pretty sure that was a sign, an omen of something. But yeah, that's where we are there. I don't know. I think I'm dead. Maybe I'm not.
He's not.
I mean, I don't know. This could all be fiction. Everything that I'm looking at, everything that I see,
no.
all of you that I'm talking
it's
to.
It's pretty real.
It's all fictional. Nothing is real anymore. I don't know. But I talked. Thank you. I talked about it a little bit a second ago. But we did elect a new president since the last time I was on the air on the Toddcast, and that's exciting. On the regular show, I tend to get really deep into it, and I make fun of our current president because it's so easy. I'm not going to do that here, but I will say that I'm excited. Like I said, I'm excited to see where this new era takes us. I think we were not doing so hot with the old one, and I think it's time for a new path, especially with this illness. I honestly believe if we had just been a little smarter, we wouldn't have gotten this. The COVID-19 would have spared me and Miss Pengrino, but unfortunately, sometimes life hands you lemons that are extremely bitter when you make that lemonade. So now that Joe Biden is our next president, and Kamala Harris, I don't care what your political views are. I'm excited about this. That's history. That is history. We just nominated the first female vice president in U.S. history. And I was actually thinking about it today that, we talk so much about presidential history and the things that presidents have done over the years. I want to go and explore vice presidential history. I want to go through and share with the audience the history of the vice presidency, because they don't get as much love as the president does. And we're familiar with many vice presidents over the years because a lot of them went on to become president. And then there's some that were just famous, very famous vice presidents for whatever reason. For here in Tennessee, he never became president, but we all remember Al Gore because Al Gore's here in Tennessee. Very famous vice president. But there's so many. Can anybody tell me without looking up who Calvin Coolidge's vice president was? How about Ulysses S. Grant's vice president? How about Rutherford Hayes' vice president?
I don't even know these presidents.
She don't even know who I'm talking about. Ulysses S. Grant? You don't know U.S. Grant?
Oh, I know Ulysses S. Grant. Yeah.
I'm the historian in the house. But anyway, Baby Yoda. Hi, Baby Yoda. And brought to you by NBC and Baby Yoda.
I felt the need.
It's good. He needs to be there. But yeah, the vice presidency, it doesn't get as much love as the presidency. So I want there might be a special in the future of the Toddcast where we just talk about vice presidential history. That'll be in 2021, though. Why'd you do that? You don't seem excited.
I hate history.
You don't seem excited. I'm thrilled about
I hate
this.
history.
Vice presidential history? Are you kidding me?
I like to live in the now and the future. Not so much the past.
Well, I agree with you 100%, but it's good to know the past. It's good to remember the past. You know, when the vice presidency started, it wasn't. It didn't deal with the running mate. It was just whoever came in second place in the presidential election would be vice president. You're already yawning. I'm talking about history. She's a little bit. She's already yawning.
Okay, don't. That's great, and I'm glad that you like it. I'm glad that you know it, because then I don't have to.
So whoever came in second place was the vice president.
Right.
Could you imagine if that happened today? Like if the way it is right now, Joe Biden wins and then Trump came in second place, he'd be Biden's vice president.
No, because it would be constant arguing
or
all
if
the time.
Or if this silly recount, the lawsuit thing goes through, and Trump gets his way, he becomes president, and then Biden would be his vice president. That's the way that would work. That's weird.
Dear. No.
It's weird, man. Or Hillary would have been Trump's vice president.
Oh, that wouldn't have happened.
Let's just say I'm certainly glad that our government officials back in the early 1800s decided that was a good idea. That we put in an article that says, "Hey, if you're going to run for president, why don't you choose your vice president and keep them in your party? That way, you don't have could you imagine the infighting of?"
Hair keeps blowing in my face.
That's all right. But anyway, so that's something that I'm excited about. Kamala Harris being...
I'm excited.
Not just the first female vice president, but the first black vice president.
An Indian.
An Indian and Asian. She has many descents and many different races throughout her family. And so this really is... It goes beyond historic. For me, though, the major historic part is the fact that we have the first female vice president. So that's going to be cool. I'm down with that. I think that's really exciting. But that's later. We still got to get through the rest of this year. 2020. And all this happened because I was excited about Joe Biden. At the same time, I was dying of COVID-19.
Wasn't dying.
Okay, I was suffering from COVID-19. So talk about a week of mixed emotions. It was not a lot of fun. It was not the best week, but it is what it is. But
and you know, this week's probably not going to end that great since tomorrow is
Friday the 13th. I know.
In 2020, guys.
Who did that?
Friday the 13th.
Screw the Mayans.
2020
and their calendar, because who
WTF?
Who was the brainiac
Thank God there's no full moon.
who put a Friday the 13th in 2020? Have we had a Friday the 13th this year thus far?
Maybe, like way at the beginning, but I don't honestly know.
I don't think we did. And if we did, it was like before March, because obviously we didn't care enough.
Right. Well, it could have been slightly after, when we were still new to all this and didn't really care. We didn't start giving up on the world till what, June?
About June.
June. We were just
June is
life is done.
June is when we realized that this was not going to be something that will blow over next month, or maybe next month. Okay, maybe the next month. Between March and June, we had that hope of, okay, it'll get better next month. Yeah, or maybe next month. Okay, definitely next month. And then it never got better.
But never.
But it never got better, and here we are.
And we're thinking miraculously, well, I'm not thinking, because I know it's not, but people thinking it's going to miraculously get better in 2021. This is a process, man.
It's not,
It's not going to just, January 1st, whoop, we're back to normal. No. This is going to be a process to get back.
It's going to be a process, but the hope is there that 2021 will be better than 2020.
Yes.
The vaccine will come out at some point in 2021, and we can get back to our lives, and life as we know it can go back to normal. That's the hope for 2021.
We're hoping for up, not down.
That's right.
That's all we can hope for.
So we need them, and so ironically, we need those good drugs to come in.
Yeah.
Ups and downs, get it?
Yeah, the good goods.
Yeah, good goods, ups and downs. Stop! I don't have my sound effects board, so I can't womp myself with the bad jokes. Oh, Heaven says she has school tomorrow, and it's quite frightening. You know.
Girl, I gotta work, so I'm right there with you. I already have crazies on the normal days. Like, I'm not ready for tomorrow.
I don't understand. I don't know how schools are doing it, to be honest. You know, like, my mom's a teacher, and her school, like, a huge chunk of it is out now due to COVID.
Grades.
Yeah, 3 grades is out now due to COVID-19. 3 grades.
Not all of them have it, but of course, if one of them has it, they have to quarantine.
They have
everybody.
to quarantine the whole grade, the whole hallway there. My mom was what's called a consulting teacher, so she essentially teaches the teacher. She keeps up with everything in the curriculum, and then she relays that info to the teachers, and then helps and guides them through everything. So she goes from grade to grade in elementary to evaluate, you know, teachers, and she's like, her job is extremely easy right now because there's 3 grades that are gone right now because of COVID, and and that scares me. It's getting back to this, you know, life or death type thing. That scares the hell out of me because she could still get it from that school. Who knows? And you know, she's not. I don't want to say she's elderly. She's not elderly. She's just older. That's the appropriate word. My mother is older, and so if she was to get COVID-19, it would be a little scarier for her to get it. And she's a cancer survivor.
Yeah, I was going to say, that's more of what I'm frightened of than her being older. Because let's be real, some days she's younger than we are.
She is. But that's the thing. She's like, oh, you know, I'm not decrepit. If I get it, I can get... But you've been through a lot already, Mother, and so that's why we're
just don't want anyone to have to go through any more.
We're just concerned, is all it is. But yeah, that's the thing. It's like, you know, school is scary right now, and you know, UT, the colleges, they're not doing great right now either. It's all just culminating into this big world of ick, and that's why we've got to get this thing under control. You know. Again, I honestly didn't think I was going to get it. I didn't think you were... Well, I thought maybe you would get it, but I honestly didn't think... I mean, not to be mean, but I didn't think I would get it. But, you know, life as it can be sometime. Heaven says there's been several cases at my school, too, but they just quarantine anyone who is in contact with whoever has it. I get that. That makes more sense, I guess, in a bigger city situation. You got to keep things going. But my mom's school is in a rural community.
Rural.
My hometown is a rural community, and so and they're extremely close quarters. The building's kind of small, so once one person gets it, that the grade's got to go. So, but I can see that it's gosh, that's still scary though. One person gets it, everybody else just hangs around. I see why they do that, but that's still scary because the people could still have it, you know.
I'll say my work doesn't do that.
No, well,
if you don't show symptoms, you're good.
Well, our work, the station does. I mean, you go home and you stay if you have it. So I guess it does make a little bit more sense because we wouldn't. Obviously, the whole radio station didn't shut down because I had it. There was another DJ who had it earlier in the year, and we didn't shut down for him. So, yeah, I can see that. But again, I guess if it's closer quarters, like school, like a smaller school, like my mom teaches at, makes more sense. I told you, welcome to the show, says Rochelle. I'm confused by that statement. What? I don't know. Oh, to the S show. I get it now.
I was going to say, I think you missed a letter.
I told you, welcome to the S show. You ain't kidding.
Who was that?
It's Rochelle. Rochelle Heath. She's another CP warrior out there who's a friend of mine. And
hey, Rochelle.
hello, Rochelle. and you're right. It is. And you know, she lives in Georgia, and in Atlanta, and you know that's a which is ironic because what's a big city, they've got massive cases, but it's also the home of the CDC, the Center for Disease Control.
That's funny.
Yeah, so there you have it, ladies and gents. But yeah, we got to flatten the curve and take us as an example. You know, I mean, we survived, we did well. You know,
well, we were lucky.
I didn't do well. I had the thing, and it sucked.
You was fine, though.
But I got through it. I'm here now. I'm feeling great. You know, but definitely... Yes, exactly. But definitely take the precautions. If you don't need to go anywhere, don't go anywhere.
Yeah, one of my coworkers who came down with it, he is not doing that well, but he is, you know, diabetic, and he does have a few other medical issues. So we've been kind of worried about him. But his son has it, and his son's completely fine. His son is bouncing off the walls with energy. So
it doesn't really affect kids, though, is the thing. But yeah. I did not want to curse on here. It's different when you very true. When we talk privately, it's a different story. I understand. We cuss on this show.
Shit.
We cuss on this show. It's fine.
Shit's not really a cuss word. At least it's not for me. That was my first word as a kid. So.
But she comes from a different planet. It's called Louisiana.
I don't come from a different planet.
It's called Louisiana. If you've never been to the planet Louisiana, take a trip there. You'll see.
Don't go right now. They're pretty bad with COVID.
Yeah, and hurricanes and stuff. Just stay away from them.
Meh. The hurricanes are. It's just some wind and some water. It's fine.
Another planet. Anyway.
Not another planet.
Point is. But stay safe out there. Wear your mask and social distance, and we'll leave it at that when it comes to the COVID thing.
Yeah.
But you know, if you do have it, don't panic.
Don't panic.
Just stay home and stay safe. Just be calm about it. Let it run its course. Don't go to the hospital unless you absolutely have to. Most hospitals are like at 90% right now with their beds and everything. So if you can manage it, manage it. But if you absolutely need to go to the hospital, obviously don't hesitate.
Also, if you call the Department of Health, the Tennessee Department of Health, they do have like resource help. If you need groceries, if you need like cleaning products, like like deodorant or bath wash or stuff. Because they told me that when they call me, they do call and check on you when you.
Oh yeah, I was getting ready to say, actually, you could just call me or text me, because apparently they want to talk to me every single day.
Every day. But they do have resource programs where you can reach out to them and get some help if you do need some help. So, and, I think most companies have a lot of things going for people who need help. So just reach out. Reach out if you need help, reach out.
I talked to them once, told them my symptoms, we went through the whole thing, and they've called me 5 more times.
They finally stopped calling me because I was out of my 10 days. So today was probably the last day.
Good. Anybody who works at the Tennessee Department of Health watching this show, leave me alone, okay? I told you.
We're sorry, we know it's your job, but we're done.
We're done. I told you the first time you called me what my symptoms were, who I was.
But appreciate y'all doing
my
your
mother's
job.
Maiden name, all of that crap. I went through the whole list. What the name of our apartment number is, what the mailbox number is. I've done it already. It's done.
As he disappears.
Okay.
Bye.
Well, as I said, that's all the COVID talk. Yes, Dr. Fauci is a hero, and it doesn't get said enough. He's the guy who's in charge of. He's the doctor in charge of the coronavirus and thing in Washington, and he's
I was wondering why that name sounded familiar.
He's aiding the president, although the president doesn't like him. But Rochelle makes a good point. Wearing your masks protects you and others. because by wearing the mask, you're keeping your germs in away from other people. So if somebody else is wearing their mask, they're keeping their germs from you, and that's how you flatten the damn curve, people. That's how you make this better. That's all you have to do. It's not that hard. And Dr. Fauci is a delight.
So those who are like, why am I wearing this mask? You're wearing the mask because you care for others.
That's right.
That's why you're wearing it.
That's right. And
because you give a shit about other people.
Because you care about other people. It's as simple as that, ladies and gentlemen. But that's enough of the COVID talk. Yes, we have it. We've had it, but we've survived it. We fine, and you now know what to do. But before we wrap up the show, I told Miss Pengrino this right before we started, that this was something I really wanted to do because she's someone who's heavy into... Well, we both are. We both love...
Amen, Toddy.
Amen. Damn Skippy. But, Oh, that's weird. No. Okay. Oh, wait. I'm on Facebook, and I forgot we're live on Facebook. But okay, so there's an unsolved mystery here in Nashville. Not here, I'm in Knoxville. We're in Knoxville, but here in Tennessee, in Nashville. And I'm a sucker for unsolved mysteries. So is Miss Pengrino. So I wanted to talk to you about this. So there's a Nashville woman. Her remains were found in her bed years after her death. Okay. So
how did no one smell that?
Well, this is how the story goes.
Okay.
Her name was LaRonda Jolly. She was found dead on her bed in a River Chase apartment in East Nashville. And while the sheriff's office was there to serve an eviction notice for past rent payments, her brother Anthony Jolly says that my niece said, yes, my mama's body is upstairs in the bed. They went up, removed some of the clothing, and uncovered a foot. And that's when they told everybody to back out. Jolly said he'd been trying to get in touch with his sister for months and even had a welfare check completed, which turned up empty. I started going down there, and my nieces and nephews would say, well, she's asleep. You can't see her right now. I would say, well, all I want to do is see my sister. If I can just see her face, I'll be fine and I'll leave you alone. He explained that he and his sister had a complicated relationship due to a childhood trauma and that he had to love her from a distance. But he still wanted to stay in touch with her. He said the last time he spoke with her was over 2 years ago, but every time I would call, it was a bogus phone call. It wasn't my sister. He believes it may have been one of his nieces impersonating their mother. Now here's the thing. LaRonda's 4 children lived with her in the apartment, all of whom have developmental disabilities. Metro Police said the oldest one is 30, and the other 3 are in their late 20s. And the 2 middle children are twins. They lied every time. They would not tell me the truth, said Jolly. After authorities found LaRonda's body, Jolly said he wouldn't go in and look at her, but believes all that's left is a skeleton. For them to say, in the apartment with your mom's decaying body, I can't understand it, and I guess I never will understand it. He's now searching for answers about why they never called the police when she died, but he said all his niece will say is they were obeying their mother's wishes to let me lay here. Don't call anybody, just let me lay here. And that's what they told me, but everything else they told me is a lie. So I'm not sure if I believe that either. So that's what this story basically... Oh, yeah, see, Rochelle says foul play. Checks are being cashed. That's an interesting thing. And so that's the mystery at this point. How did she die? Did she die of natural causes? And did she say, just let me lay here, thinking she was going to be okay?
I mean, it's possible the kids might not have understood if they do have developmental delays.
That's the thing.
Then again, it doesn't specify what kind of delays they have. Because, some people have delays and they're perfectly fine and they wouldn't do stuff like that. They would still know right from wrong and know they should be calling somebody.
It's fishy. That's what I'll say.
It's definitely concerning. And they lived in an apartment. How does someone not smell that? I mean, a decaying body, eventually the smell is going to seep somewhere. So...
Exactly.
Who, what, when, where, why, how? Because, somebody should have noticed something.
And that's the thing. It's if you've got developmental issues. I get if she was dying of natural causes and she didn't know she was dying. In their brain, they were doing the right thing. But yeah,
it all seems very off.
But then, but the niece impersonating her on the phone. What about that?
Believe that?
Huh?
I mean, I sound a lot like my mom on the phone, but
no, she's impersonating, so it makes it to make him think that she was on the phone.
She watches too much of Dateline.
I mean,
you and me both.
And
and me both.
We watch unsolved stuff,
unsolved mysteries, and we watch. Well, I watch like the evil that lives inside and all this other stuff. Definitely fishy, and they've had to understand enough to pay the bills for that long. That's a good point.
Well, and that's I think
unless the bills were automatically set up.
I think there was more to that towards the end of the story.
Because I mean, everything's electronic now. So
Jolly also said he's told by his niece that she died in 2017. However, Metro Police were told by the children that she may have died in 2018, and a deputy told that has been dead for at least a year. Adult Protective Services have stepped in to help the 4 children, including Nashville Inner City Ministries, getting them in a hotel for a time being. Okay, it doesn't say that, but it doesn't talk about that. But I remember somewhere, at some point, someone was talking about how did the bills get paid, and I think that was the theory was that it was on auto pay, and now the money's running out. So then what? Yeah, but that's it's just too fishy for me. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, it is.
I think there's one theory that says they were developmentally challenged, and so they didn't know enough to call the police because they were just obeying their mother. But then there's also foul play, because you think about the impersonating calls.
I mean, you would think
phone,
though, out of 4, one had enough.
One would have enough sense to
know something,
right? And was there no other family members that was concerned? I mean, yeah. I just don't know. Of course, they came from a traumatized family life, so maybe she didn't know her. She wasn't in contact with her parents. Maybe her parents were dead already. Who knows? What are some other theories? Would you have a theory?
I don't know, man.
Yeah, it's just bizarre, and I don't know how to go about it.
I mean, there's really only 2. Either she died from natural causes, was trying to keep the kids paid, but I mean, likely her brother would have taken them in unless she knew her brother wouldn't take them in, and she didn't want them to be by themselves.
Well,
he said don't call.
He said he would have, but now he doesn't want to see them. Yeah, he doesn't.
Of course, he doesn't want to see them now because he thinks they killed her.
Well, either way, I mean, it's just weird, and so he doesn't want to get involved. If that's the case, I don't know. I don't know what he wanted to do or what his thoughts were, but I mean it's just
message.
Huh? It's an unsettling thing. Rochelle says she writes, I write my parents' bills by hand because they are older and don't want to do it online. I'm only legally appointed. Sorry everybody. Checks signer by law. Right. So that makes me wonder, in a case like that. But see, Rochelle is the daughter, and she takes care of the parents. Mm-hmm. The parent was taking care of the adult children. Mm-hmm. I don't know. Well, if the niece was bold enough to impersonate the mother on the phone, then she may have been bold enough to write checks, forge signatures.
I don't know.
I
think I would have to know the mental capabilities of the children before I can make any assumptions.
Right.
Because for me, that plays a large part. Because there are some people who are considered disabled, but they're really not. They're perfectly capable. I mean, they are delayed, but they're normally very smart and very capable.
From what I'm getting from this story, they were not capable really at all. But she
answered the phone and imitated her mother, so obviously
they were still eating.
That one is the least relatively.
And they were still eating.
So someone knew how to cook, or at least microwave stuff, or at least go down the street to McDonald's, if McDonald's,
Right, no, right, yeah.
So at least one of them was smart enough to keep things going.
See, this is why it's an unsolved mystery. And I was fascinated by this story.
Because, there are also, a lot of programs to help people so they can, once they do become adults, to live on their own with disabilities. So they could have been in all those programs to know. One was our age. And the other ones weren't far behind.
It's a weird situation. It really
Could
is.
happen, but I automatically found foul play and red flag.
Yeah, that's. I'm getting that too. That the adult children. This woman probably died 2, maybe 3 years ago, and these kids are still alive and well and healthy and fed. And then there's the impersonating, and then there's the money situation. If the money wasn't on auto pay. But even if it was on auto pay, the money's got to run out eventually.
Not if they still think she's alive and they're still receiving welfare checks.
Boom.
But then again, there's 4 of them, and I don't know if those welfare checks could cover it all. I'm sure she was working a little too.
Probably.
Maybe not.
I don't know. See, it doesn't go that deep in her history, so I don't know exactly.
They were still able to take care of their daily needs by themselves.
Exactly. So,
or at least one of them was, if not all of them.
Right. Somebody was doing something.
Somebody was doing something.
And if they were able to do that, they could easily have placed a phone call to somebody. I don't know.
So it's kind of more the question of, they did do it, they did not call, but was it a malicious thing, or was it them following orders?
But then that goes back to the developmental thing. If they were following orders just because their mom didn't want them to do anything, because she was just laying down.
I don't know, man. I would need more evidence, more about each person, what she was doing in her life, what the kids were doing in their lives.
I'm leaning more towards foul play. I don't like to be that guy, but I'm leaning more towards that.
I mean, we're always that person.
What?
I said we're always that person. You're always going to think of the evil stuff first because...
Well, no, because, at first...
It normally is the evil thing.
At first I got it, developmental issues makes total sense that they would not disturb her because they thought she was resting. But yes, that was years ago.
Yeah, eventually they would have assumed she needed to wake up.
Or like you said, the smell would have come through, but they found her under clothes.
Clothes are not going to stop that decaying smell.
No, but clearly they covered her up. But maybe they thought she was cold. I don't know.
Was it clothes or was it just sheets?
Oh, it didn't go into that. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe it was just a lot of sheets.
I don't know.
Need more evidence.
We need more evidence.
Because even if it's foul play, there's not enough evidence to convict in a court of law.
No, I don't think
there's too many questions.
I don't think this is going to trial by any stretch of the imagination. Or if it is, they probably have to plead insanity or plead.
They wouldn't have to plead if they were mentally disabled.
No, they'd have to. They yeah.
Did you know if?
Do you know if my mom says leave her alone? Do you know if my mom says leave her alone?
I listen.
Yeah.
She's like, bullshit.
Yeah.
I ain't listening.
Right. True.
How?
Have you watched SVO? Of course.
Yes, I have the first 15 seasons on DVD.
Special Victims Unit. Very good. Very good
what
show.
What are they, season 47, 48 now?
Close. About 20 or 21 at this point. Yeah.
I know I have at least 15 back there.
Mm-hmm.
So I know they've passed 15.
Is the Toddcast in season 21? No, we're season 7, aren't we?
Yeah.
Sometimes it feels like 21 seasons. Other days it doesn't.
Look, guys, I watch the ID channel like it's going out of style. So
yeah,
there is fishy all over this.
There is a new one tonight. That's right.
A new what?
New SVU tonight. They finally came back. Everything's been put on hold.
Yeah, I was gonna say 22. Thank you.
Wow, I didn't even think 22, but I guess that makes sense.
Yeah.
Dang.
Ice Cube and Mariska Hargitay.
Oh, don't ever do that again. Don't ever do that again. And they're the only two original people there, and
I think so.
It's all new people. It's all new.
All new.
Well, I hope you enjoyed that little yarn of
Yeah.
that unsolved mystery.
I did.
Yeah, was that fun?
It was, but I want it solved.
Yeah,
I like unsolved, but I don't like unsolved because I hate not knowing things.
That bothers me. Yeah, you're right.
I am not a not knower.
Yeah.
I'm a knower for sure.
Same. Well, that's going to wrap it up for us. This, like I said, was just a special episode to let you know. Yes, most favorite. This is one of our favorites too. But this was just kind of an episode to let you know of what was going on and kind of make the formal announcement. Because I hadn't really spoken to everybody who follows me on social media that I have COVID, but I wanted to let people know eventually. What does Heaven say?
She can't watch tonight, getting ready for Miss Shooting Star on Saturday. Taking time to watch Todd first.
Well, thank you, of course.
Oh, Rochelle watched Snap, girl.
Yeah, we're
Girl.
with you.
If you watch Snapped Killer Couples, one of our friends is in it.
She's on this show.
Yes, Miranda.
Miranda from this show
She's
is an extra in a lot of those episodes. So keep your eye out for Miranda. But yeah, this was just a special live episode to let you know of the situation. We're doing fine. I'm almost over it. She's been over it for years. It's almost over, and I'll be back at it, back in the real world next week, and we'll have an all new regular episode of the podcast next week. Like I said, it's our Thanksgiving episode, and I'll be able to get around people again so we can record some stuff.
Yep.
But thank you all for tuning in and joining us on this evening, and I guess that's about it.
Bye.
We'll see you next time.